So, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys are having a great afternoon. Hopefully everybody has had the chance to do the Tech Tuesday on the website, as well as the math lesson, the video. Once again, it's crazy watching yourself record. I realize that during that whole thing I say okay and a lot, but that's okay. But we're going to get going here with our ELA lesson. First of all, I want to say thank you for those that are reaching out to me if you guys are having difficulty finding stuff. What I'm going to do right now is show you guys the OneNote where you guys could find the KWI chart, because only 10 of you have done it so far. Okay, so only 10 of you have done it so far. Somebody's mic is on. I could hear myself in the feedback. I believe that is Rachel, but that's okay. So I'm going to share my screen, guys. Can everybody see this? See the OneNote? Can somebody just speak up and say yes?
I see Flipgrid.
Flipgrid?
Yeah.
So not the OneNote?
No.
Okay, hold on. Just give me a second. Like I said, guys, this is going to be... Okay, can we see this? The OneNote?
Yeah,
I can see it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so guys, this is where the KWL chart is, okay? So some people are having difficulty saving the file as it is. So I'm just going to show you really, really quickly. So here I am on, let's go to Ethan Aviard. Ethan Aviard already did it. There it is. I made a comment beside it. But here's the original file right here. What you need to do is right-click it and go to Save As. If you don't do that, you won't be able to edit it, okay? So it will save as a document on your computer. And then what you can do is go edit it, save the file on your computer, and then do the click and drag like what Ethan did on here. So that's that's how to do it. Once again, if you guys are having any difficulty getting to the KWL chart, let me know. It was due today. I have only received 10 of them so far, but you will have to the end of the day today to hand it in for me, please. Okay. Second thing, the big thing that we're doing today, the reason for this meeting is I'm going to introduce a time capsule project that's going to go along with your scrapbook project that we're going to be ramping up next week. Here, let me just show you exactly what it is, okay? So if you go, hold on, let me just share my screen here. Yeah, we can see the website, right? I'm going to assume yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So here's the website, okay? This is our central hub. Hopefully you guys have been coming to it every single day. Where to find this assignment, this time capsule assignment, is you go to subjects. You click on ELA. Okay. With ELA, you scroll down. Here is the file. Okay, the ELA time capsule file. Here it is. You click download file. It's going to open up for you like this. Okay. So here it is. Now the problem with this is going to be, guys, is you're going to have to print this off. Okay. If you guys are having difficulty printing this off, or you don't have a printer, you need to contact me, and then we'll work something out, okay? Don't do it right now. Just shoot me a message or an email just saying, hey, Mr. Klein, my printer's not working, or I can't print this off, okay? So you gotta let me know. So here it is, okay? It says adult edition just because I think you guys, it's a little bit more mature content, and I think you guys can handle it, okay? So this is a time capsule. So this is something that you guys could look back on, like I said yesterday, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, and remember that you guys survived the COVID-19 epidemic, okay? So lot of coloring. You guys can color this up, make it look good. Remember, this is for your own enjoyment, okay? This is for your own scrapbook. If you guys choose not to do it, well, that's your guys' choice. If you guys choose not to color it, well, that's your guys' choice, okay? But basically, here's the first page of it right here. You're living through history right now. Take a moment to fill out these pages for you and your family to look back on. Here are some other ideas of things to include. Some photos from this time, a journal of your days, local newspaper pages and clippings, and special memories. We're going to start this, okay? Tomorrow, for tomorrow's ELA lesson, we're going to go over what makes a good journal entry, and you guys could start your daily journaling as we go through this pandemic. Like I said, we're in the back half of this, it seems like. But you could definitely look back because I know you guys probably remember when we just abruptly ended school and you could journal based on that, okay? So you could place a picture of yourself the last day that we're able to go outside, which is hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, in the next 3 weeks. I certainly hope so because I'm starting to go stir crazy a little bit, all right? We have an all about me for today's date. Your favorite color, food, show, movie, book, everything. Remember, only you guys are going to see this, so don't be scared to put your weight or how tall you are. Only you are going to see this, okay? How are you feeling? The words to describe how you feel. Be honest with this, guys, and remember, the more detail that you give, the better it's going to help you remember, okay? Some of you guys for the KWL chart that has handed it in gave me just one-word answers. And as you know, that's not going to fly. That wouldn't fly in the classroom. That's not going to fly here, okay? Once again, this is your choosing, though, but I'm going to push you guys to give me a little bit more detail to help you out, okay? So you could just go ahead and start filling out this time capsule. I'm not going to say fill this out all at once. Maybe do a page a day. The reason for that is just because maybe your thoughts are going to change day to day, okay? Pick something that you want to do a day. You don't have to do page and page in chronological order. You can do, say for this one, I'm not stuck at home. I'm safe at home. How I pass the time? Well, you guys have been quarantined for like the last 5 weeks. You can write or draw, depending what you want to do, how you pass your time, okay? Facts from this time, trending TV shows, well, the Tiger King's one. That new Michael Jordan documentary is another one. Watched that yesterday. It's absolutely fantastic. New movies released. That's going to be a little bit difficult if you have a streaming service. Well, Onward was released on Disney Plus. It was really, really good. You know, Sonic the Hedgehog got released on streaming service, stuff like that. Okay. Like I said, so you guys could fill this out. Don't do it all in one day. Just do a page a day type deal. Somebody's mic is on because I could hear a child screaming in the background. So once again, where you can find this is you go to the ELA section under subjects on the website. Click on it, and there's the download file right there where you can download it and then print it off. Once again, if you cannot print it off, you need to shoot me an email or a message and we'll work something out. Also below this, I just want to show you guys this is the ELA visual vocab list from yesterday. Your name and the word that you are drawing is beside it. Remember that a visual vocab is you're just drawing the picture, okay? Because the goal is that we are trying to guess what your word is based on the picture that you draw, okay? So some people have finished that already. Great job. Way to take the initiative. Remember to post this onto Classroom Notebook or onto the OneNote. And one thing that people are doing, guys, is we are posting it to the content library or the collaboration where you're not posting it to the ELA section of your notebook. So please make sure that you do that, okay? So this time capsule, there's no real due date for it just yet. But this is something that you could just do as the something that you could do just as the time goes on, okay? Once again, don't have to do it all at once. Don't have to do it in chronological order. A page a day whenever you want to do it. Maybe you're bored, stuff like that, okay? So that is the first part of our meeting. Like I said, this meeting isn't going to take very long. The second part of our meeting is we're actually going to start our read out loud today. So I'm going to read you guys. You guys can get comfortable, just kind of hang out. Hopefully, oh, Cassandra's leaving. Hopefully you guys, are comfortable and not muting me, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our read out loud. It is called Umbrella Summer. Now, this book is all about dealing with anxiety, about OCD, about basically just going through life without fear or with a constant fear that something's going to happen to you. Me, for example, I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety. I'm a big germaphobe, as you know. I hate getting sick, and especially when there's a pandemic, the constant fear of getting sick is there. So just going outside the house, like for example, yesterday I went to the school just to pick up some sticky tack, and now I think I have the virus. So, which I know I probably don't, but that's just the way I roll. So this is Umbrella Summer. It's by Lisa Graff, okay? And it is published by Lauren Granger Books, which is an imprint of the HarperCollins publishers. So we're going to read 2 chapters of this, and then I'm going to show you guys kind of an assignment to do based on these 2 chapters. It's just doing a Flipgrid, which you guys can do just right after I am done reading. Once again, this is being recorded, so you guys can always go back and listen to the chapters again. Okay? I'm just going to check quickly the chat. Some people are on a different chat over here. Just give me a second. We can hear you. Okay. Alrighty. So here we go. Thank you for the dog that's barking, Sebastian.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right. Chapter 1. If you started to squeeze your brakes right in the middle of heading down Maple Hill, just as you were passing Old Note Moore's mailbox, you could coast into the bike rack in front of Lippy's Market without making a single tire squeak. That was the fastest way to go, and the most fun, too, with the wind whistling past your ears and the stomach getting fluttery and floaty till you thought you maybe were riding quicker than a rocket. I didn't do that anymore, though. Now I hopped off my bike at the top of the hill and walked it. It took 5 times as long, but it was a lot safer. I got to the store at 7:58. That's what it said on the clock inside. The door was still locked, and Mr. Lipowitz and his son Tommy were flattening cardboard boxes in the corner. Miss L saw me peeking through the window and held up 2 fingers, so I sat down on the front step and waited, trying to soak up the whole 2 minutes by taking off all my biking gear real slow. I slid off my elbow pads, left one first, then the right, and stacked them on the step next to me in a pile. Next came the knee pads, which I tugged off over my speakers. And last of all, I unsnapped my bike helmet. I thought about taking off the ace bandages around my ankles too, but then I decided it would take too long to put them back on when I was ready to bike home. And there was no way I was biking without them. They were important for protecting against sprains. I took so long with my bike gear, I swear Mr. L could have opened the store twice by the time I was done, but the door was still closed. I stood up and leaned back on my heels and then forward to my tippy tips of my toes, for something to do while I was waiting. I scanned the bulletin board out front to see if there's anything new. Same as usual. There were papers pinned up all over the advertisements and lost and founds, flyers about art lessons, and people selling furniture, and high school kids looking for babysitting jobs. In the top right corner, there was a green one that said, Yard Sale, Saturday, 106 Knickerbocker Lane, and I knew that had to be the Harper's next door, because my house was 108. Some of the flyers were brand new, and some were so old when they were brown that they were brown around the edges from too much sun. My dad once said that if you ever wanted to know what people were up to in Cedar Haven, California, the easiest way was to go down to Lippy's, because then you could learn about everyone all at once. By the time Mr. L unlocked the door, it was 8:09, but I didn't tell him. Well, if it isn't my best customer, he said with a grin. How are you doing today, Annie? Pretty good, I told him. I checked out our house for black widow spiders, and there aren't any. Well, his nostrils flared at that. Good to know. There was a crash from the back of the room. Not an emergency sounding shatter like plates breaking, but more like a good long rattle. Tommy! Mr. L hollered over his shoulder. What was that? Tommy didn't answer. Sound like a whole carton of good and plenties to me, I said. He laughed. I better go check, huh? While Mr. L checked on Tommy, I wandered around. I knew exactly what I was looking for, but I liked exploring. Lippy's was one of my favorite places to be. Sometimes on Sundays, after Rebecca's family got back from church, we rode our bikes down to get lunch from the warmer. Rebecca got either fried chicken or spiced potato wedges, and I always got the beef taquitos. It was four for $2, but Mr. L was at the register. I got a fifth one for free. I saw right away that Mr. L had finally stocked up the toil aisle for summer. Water balloons and super soakers, snorkeling masks and plastic sunglasses. You should have gotten that stuff out 3 weeks ago because it was already the first day of July, and I was sweating worse than a pig at a roller derby. But I guess better late than never. What? That's what my mom always said. There was a pair of brown and pink polka dotted flip flops that were just my size, and I wanted them real bad. But there was more important things I needed to spend my money on. After I finished my wandering, I went to the front, where Mr. L was reading the newspaper behind the counter. I do have to say, Anthony and Alex and everybody that's commenting, you guys could stop, please. Thank you. Was it good and plenties? I asked him. Is that what crashed? He shook his head. Junior mints. You find something worth buying today, Annie? Yep, I slapped my purchase on the counter. Mr. L looked at the box and then looked back at me. His face was squinty. Didn't you just buy a box of Band-Aids yesterday? He asked. It was Thursday, I told him, and I'm out already. I saw him looking at my arms. I had 2 Band-Aids on the right one, where Rebecca's hamster had scratched me with its nails, and 5 on the left one, covering the spots that either were mosquito bites or poison oak. I wasn't sure yet. He sighed deep. He was looking at me with his eyes big and sad, and a crease between the eyebrows. It was the same look almost everyone had for me now. Miss Kimball at school, my parents' friends, even Rebecca sometimes when she thought I couldn't see her. Everybody on the planet practically had been looking at me the same way since February, sad and worrying, with a bit of pity mixed at the edges. I guess that is the way people look at you after your brother died. I slipped $3 across the counter towards him. I get 17 cents change, I said. Mr. L just nodded and rang me up. When I was outside trying to yank my knee pads back up around my knees, I had noticed Tommy by the dumpster. He was gnawing on a handful of Junior mints. Tommy had never really talked much, but it seemed to me he talked less than normal lately. I liked hanging out with him, though, even if he was 2 years older, because he was the one person who never gave me that dead brother look. I guess that's because he'd been Jared's best friend, so he probably had been giving him enough dead best friends look to know better. He must have seen me staring because he held up a box of candy. It had a rip on the corner. They got damaged, he said. I shrugged. Can I have some? He shrugged back. Guess so. I yanked my right knee pad up 1 more inch and went over to the dumpster. Tommy shook out some Junior mints onto my hand. He was eating his quick back to back, but I was sucking on mine slow until the chocolate melted away and all that was left was peppermint. We stood in the parking lot and chewed and sucked for a long time, just quiet. I tried to look at Tommy sideways without him noticing while I rolled a new piece of candy around in my tongue. He had blonde hair that was the length my mom called shaggy, and it covered up to his whole eyebrows. That would have driven me nuts, but Tommy didn't seem to mind. I was thinking about that when Tommy popped another Junior mint into his mouth and said, "We are going to go bowling this year." I nodded. Jared and Tommy had their birthday parties together every year since they were born only 2 days apart. July 7th for Tommy and the 9th for Jared. They either went to Castle Park where they had miniature golf and video games, or else they went bowling. I liked bowling better because I always had to come, and when it came to video games, I stunk worse than old asparagus. You still going to go? I asked him. I plucked another Junior mint from my hand and let the chocolate settle on top of my tongue. He shook out the last of the candy in his mouth. Maybe, I guess. He tossed the empty box into the dumpster. I don't know. He was about to go back in the store. I could tell for some reason I didn't want him to leave just yet. Tommy, I said. He turned around. Yeah. Then I realized I shouldn't have said Tommy with the question mark sound in my voice because it made it sound like I had a question for him, which I didn't. So then I had to think of one. If you were writing a will, what do you think you would put in there? Tommy raised an eyebrow. A will? Yeah, I said. Like when someone dies and they leave you stuff. I haven't been planning to talk to Tommy about wills, but I've been thinking about them for a while. How they were good to have around for just in case times. If Jared had made one, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have given his robot collection to me, so it wouldn't just sit shut up inside his bedroom where Mom said it should be. What would you write? Tommy still had an eyebrow up. It was a look Jared sometimes used when he talked to me. That look meant he couldn't believe he was related to somebody so stupid. Usually after a look like that, Jared would give me a wet willy and told me to stop being a moron. But Tommy just said, "What do you mean? What would I write? Like, what sort of stuff would you give away and to who?" He was quiet for a while, thinking, I guess, and then I sucked on my last junior mint until it was just peppermint air. "I don't know," he said at last, shrugging when he said, "Probably no one wants any of my stuff anyways." He squinted at me from under his shaggy hair. "Why do you want to know?" I tapped the Band-Aid box bulge in my front pocket. "I've been thinking about writing one," I said, "but I can't figure out who should get which things. Like my stuffed turtle Chirpy, the one Jared gave me for my birthday 3 years ago, and my snow globe from Death Valley. Should I leave that stuff to my parents? Rebecca? The Goodwill box at school?" It was hard to figure out. "Okay, well," Tommy did head for the door then. "Good luck." And I knew that meant we were done talking. I finished putting on the rest of my bike gear, checked 3 times to make sure my shoelaces were double knotted, and then whacked up my kickstand. The whole way home, with the corner of the Band-Aid box poking into my hip, as I walked the bike slowly up Maple Hill, I thought about it. My will. The best thing to do would be to make one as soon as possible, because you never knew when you were going to need it, and it was best to be prepared. But the reason I was having problems was because most of the stuff I had, if I could give it to anyone, I'd want to give it to Jared. And Jared was gone. Have you ever thought about that? Doing a will, even though you guys are just simply 12 years old? I've thought about it lately just because, I'm getting up there. Still young by technical standards, but let's read one more chapter. It's only a few pages, and then I'll let you go for the day. Or I'll show you what to do on Flipgrid, and I'll let you go on for the day. Chapter 2. When I got home, I sat down on the porch steps to change one of my Band-Aids because the edges were looking kind of grimy, and then noticed some bumps on my left leg just above the knee. There were 2 of them, red and itchy, and they looked like bug bites, but I checked all over to make sure they weren't more of them because that could mean they were chicken pox. I never had that one before, there'd been a boy at the library last week who looked pretty itchy. I told Mom the kids seemed chicken poxy right when I saw him, but she just rolled her eyes. Mom was always saying I shouldn't worry so much, but I knew for a fact that she didn't worry enough. Because last February, when Jared got hit with a hockey puck playing out on Cedar Lake, Mom took him to the hospital, and the doctor said he just had a chest pain from where the puck had hit him, and Mom believed it. And then 2 days later, Jared died. There was a problem with his heart. Doctors at the hospital said it was incredibly rare, and that's why no one had thought to check for it. But rare didn't matter for Jared, did it? The problem was you couldn't just look out for the big things, cars on the highway and stinging jellyfish and getting hit by lightning and house fires and pneumonia. Everyone knew that stuff was dangerous, but there was a lot of other dangerous stuff that most people didn't even worry about. You had to watch out for everything. I was checking underneath my sock for more red bumps when a head popped up on the other side of the hedge and scared me so bad I lost my balance and fell right over in the grass. "Why, hello there, Annie." "Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. I didn't mean to startle you." It was Miss Harper, our next-door neighbor, who didn't just normally scare the bejeebus out of me. "That's okay," I told her. I stood up and patted all my bones to make sure none of them were broken. They weren't. "I'm all right." "Glad to hear it," she said. Miss Harper was a fairly large lady, as big around as one of as 1.5 of most people, and she liked giving hugs. Every time she saw you, she'd squeeze you up in a tight into a hug and hold on to you so long that you could sing the whole Star Spangled Banner before she was done. She was our troop leader for the junior Sunbirds, so every meeting the hugs could go on forever. What are you up to over there? Just checking to make sure I don't have chicken pox, I told her, brushing the grass off of me. Oh, Miss Harper cleared her throat then, even though I could tell it didn't really need clearing. I see. Well, she cleared her throat again. Anyways, Mr. Harper and I are having a yard sale today. Would you like to come over and take a look? We have some of the kids' old toys and things. I peered over the hedge in the yard, and sure enough, there was Mr. Harper arranging a pile of old mugs on a fold-out table. There were tables all over the yard, actually, and I couldn't tell what was on most of them. A couple of people from our neighborhood were already wandering around looking at things. I don't have any money, I said. Miss Harper nodded. Well, how about this then? Why don't you come be our helper? You can help Mr. Harper and me watch the tables and count money, and then you can pick out one thing to keep, anything you want. I thought about it. If I went over there, she was going to hug me for sure, but then there might be some good loot on those tables, like one of those mats with the bumps that make sure you don't slip in the shower. I'd be telling Mom and Dad we needed one, but they weren't listening. Anything? Anything. All right, I guess. Sure enough, as soon as I walked over to Miss Harper's yard, she gave me a hug, a 14-year-long one. When she was finally done with all the hugging, she set me up on a table full of chipped plates and cups and a stuffed dead badger that she said was from when Mr. Harper was hit in his taxidermy phase. I knew it was a badger because his feet were glued to a piece of wood and it said badger on it. She gave me a shoebox to put the money in and gave me one last hug squeeze and left. There wasn't anything I wanted on that table, but I thought I saw a stethoscope a couple tables over. It was either that or headphones. I'd have to check later. It wasn't 3 seconds before stupid Doug Zimmerman from down the street spotted me and zoomed his way over to my table. He had a forest green bandana wrapped around his forehead. Hello, Annie, he said, and he put the "and" part out really long to be annoying, I guess. What are you doing? I straightened out the stuff on the table. A waffle iron, an old pair of dolphin socks, a suitcase with the typewriter inside it, and I didn't even look at him. I'm helping Mrs. Harper. What does it look like? He shrugged and picked up the waffle iron. You're going to the 4th of July picnic this year, he asked. He opened up the waffle iron and closed it again. We could make an obstacle course. I don't like obstacle courses anymore, I said. Sure you do. He set the waffle iron down and opened up a box of playing cards. We could make a really good one. Half on the grass, half in the lake. I could throw you some good safari ninja tricks to keep these geese away. You smell so bad no geese would go near you anyway, I said, grabbing the cards from him and setting them back on the table. Doug stuck out his tongue, and I stuck mine out right back. Ever since Doug's best friend Brad moved to Texas a month ago, he'd been trying to hang out with me. But in no way was that going to work, because no matter what Doug Zimmerman thought, we were not friends. We might have been friends in kindergarten, and maybe I used to go over to his house sometimes and help him build obstacle courses in his yard, with tires to leap through, and chairs to crawl under, and trees to climb up, and everything, which is sort of fun, I guess, if you like that kind of thing. But then Brad showed up, and Doug stopped being my friend and started being a stupid, annoying boy who called me Annie Bobani and pinched the underside of my arm in the lunch line, which is why building an obstacle course with him wasn't exactly the number one thing I felt like doing. Anyway, I told him, obstacle courses are dangerous because you could fall and break your skull open. Aren't you going to buy something or what? This yard sale is only for paying customers. Doug just shrugged and picked up the badger. It was real heavy, so he had to hold it with both hands. Is this the thing real? He said, poking it in the left eyebrow. Don't do that, I yelled and grabbed it from him. You're going to ruin it, and then nobody will buy it. Maybe I want to buy it, he said. Do not. Do too. How much is it? I checked the price tag, which said $2. $3, I told him. Doug stuck his hand into his pocket and pulled out a bunch of $1 bills. Probably 10 of them, so many that I wish I told him that the stupid stuffed badger cost more. He handed me 3, and I grabbed them quick before he could change his mind. What are you going to do with it? I asked him as I stuck the bills into a shoebox. I didn't like talking to him, but I was kind of wondering what you did with a stuffed badger once you bought one. I don't know. He tugged at the edge of his forehead bandana. Maybe I'll sneak it into the trench room when he's sleeping and stick it right next to his bed. That'll give him the willies for sure. Might even pee his pants. Doug and his brothers were always trying to scare each other. Silly. They like to hide in trees and leap out at each other. When the other person wasn't expecting it, which Doug said it was being a stealthy safari ninja, but they did other stuff too. Like once Aaron and Trent told Doug that there were werewolves on the loose and they snuck outside Doug's window while he was sleeping and howled all night long. You were supposed to scare the other person so bad that he peed his pants. That was the rule. As far as I knew, no one had peed them yet, but I didn't really want to ask. Do you think that'd freak him out? Doug asked me. He sounded real excited about it. I rolled my eyes and went back to straightening stuff on the table. I was hoping that if I pretended Doug wasn't there, he'd go away. But I guess that didn't work because he kept talking. Hey, you want to know something? Nope. I stacked a ballerina plank on top of a tap dancer one. Yes, you do. It's interesting. Nuh-uh. How do you know? You haven't even heard what it is yet. So tell me already then. Okay, I will. Doug took a deep breath like he was going to say the most important thing there was. Someone bought that old haunted house across the street. No, they didn't. Did so. The house across the street from ours had been empty for a while, ever since the Krasnitskys moved out a year before. Rebecca was the one who decided it was haunted. She said the reason that no one moved in was because it was cursed, and she made me go there a million times, trying to peek in the windows. Rebecca was wild for spooky stories, and she was dying to find out what the inside of a real haunted house looked like. Only too bad for us, all the windows had blinds in them, so we never even saw the edges of the haunted carpet, no matter how hard we tried. I wouldn't ever say it to Rebecca, but I was pretty sure the house was haunted. For one thing, it didn't look haunted. It wasn't an old spooky looking, and not a single one of the windows were even boarded up. Rebecca said that a house didn't have to be spooky to be haunted. Maybe it was the ghost's secret trick to lure people in with their unboarded up windows, but I didn't believe that. Because for another thing, I didn't think that there was any ghosts. I didn't know what happened when you died, if there was a heaven like Miss Harper said, or if it was more like Mr. L told me one time, that there was just the end. No sadness, no happiness, or anything. I was pretty sure that after Jared died, he didn't do stupid stuff like hang out in the Krasnitsky's house howling at dust bunnies. I figured he was smarter than that, but Rebecca believed for certain, and anyway, it was fun trying to peek through the windows. I kept on with the plate stacking, but I guess Doug wasn't through talking about the haunted house. Someone bought it, he said. They're moving in tomorrow. I don't believe you, I said. Well, it's true. Mr. L told me. Hey, this badger's only $2. You said $3. That's because Miss Harper told me the price tag was a mistake. It's really $3. Liar, give me my dollar back. He reached for the shoebox with the money in it, but I squeezed it close to my chest. Can't have it back, I said. There's a lot of dollars in here, and I don't remember which one's yours anymore. He growled at me for a while, but I wouldn't give him that dollar. Thank goodness Mr. Harper finally came over and said he had a collection of shark teeth Doug might be interested in because he heard one time that being around someone you hated could give you allergic reactions. And I'm pretty sure Doug was starting to give me the hives. There we go. Done 2 chapters. So with that, here's what you guys are going to be doing, okay? I'm going to share my screen again. You guys are going to be doing a Flipgrid, okay? So on the Flipgrid, which I hope everybody can see right here. Can everybody see the Flipgrid? Did everybody fall asleep?
Yes.
Okay, we all fell asleep. Great. Okay, so if you don't remember your Flipgrid code, don't worry, okay? So just to remember how to do this. So you're going to go to enter a flip code right here. You're going to scroll down. The flip code that you're going to enter is KLEIN. Don't worry, this is all recorded, so you guys can watch this back. 1761. Then you're going to click on it. Then it's going to load up, and it's going to ask you for your ID. Your ID is your last name and the number 1. So say my name is Caden Harrison. Okay? I'm going to put Harrison 1. Okay, Harrison and the number 1, and I'm going to click Let's Go. When that happens, here we go. We got Mr. Klein's grade 6-7 class, if you guys don't remember. And here's the first response, the umbrella summer response. You're going to click on it right here. Okay? So this has to do with the quote on page 13, okay? But there was a lot of other dangerous stuff that most people didn't even have to worry about. And I want you guys to do a response in regards to this before. Why do you think people don't worry about everything? What could be some of the problems people would have if they did not limit the things that they are worried about, okay? So if they just worried about everything all the time, kind of like Annie is doing in her book about the chicken pox and mosquito bites and getting hives and stuff like that, what do you think would happen to that individual, okay? And just going back to this time, do you really think that the times that we're living in are really dangerous and the precautions that we are taking are necessary? Or do you feel that we are very overreacting? And that is regards to the COVID-19 and the lockdown that we've been going through for the last 5 weeks. Okay, so what I would like you to do is to do a Flipgrid response based on this. Once again, you guys can go back and re-listen to the chapters. The video will be posted very soon. After this meeting is completed, I will post it, and then you guys could do your Flipgrid. So don't forget, KWL chart, that's due today. For those that haven't done it, you need to get that into me. Remember, it needs to go under the language arts section in your notebook, okay? 2, you could start on the time capsule that is on the website that I showed you, okay? Remember, you don't have to finish it all at once. You could do a page a day, and it doesn't need to be in chronological order. And 3, you need to do that Flipgrid response, and let's say that Flipgrid response is due for Thursday, okay? I'll give you a couple days to do that. Other things, math. So the math lesson that we did today, that the video that I posted today, we're going to have a live math lesson tomorrow. The grade 6s is at 10:30. Okay, so it's from 10 to 11, and the grade 7s is from 11 to 11:30. We're going to go over the introduction to integers, and I'm going to help you guys out if you guys are having any difficulty. So if you guys need help with the math assignment, those are those times tomorrow are the times to ask me questions, okay? So then we're going to have a 30-minute meeting tomorrow regarding that, and then we're going to have an ELA lesson tomorrow, once again at 1 o'clock, and we're going to go over what makes a good journal entry and maybe read another chapter in Umbrella Summer. If nobody has any questions, I'm just going to open it up to the floor if anybody has any questions. If not, we can end this meeting, and you guys can go and enjoy your day.
I have a question.
Yes, Sebastian.
It kicked me out of the meeting, so I don't know what we were talking about.
Well, don't worry. If you were listening, which I know you just were, I am recording the meeting. I'm recording the whole thing, so you'll be able to go back. Okay?
What's the time capsule?
The time capsule, once again, Rihanna, I am recording this video. I've shown what the time capsule is. It's earlier on in the video. So once I post the video, you can re-watch the video and see where it is, and I explain what it is, okay? Okay, well, if nobody else has any questions, once again, the video playback for this meeting is going to be up explaining everything that you guys can do this week. And this is going to be on Microsoft Teams. I will send you a message on Remind just showing you exactly where it is. Okay, so if you guys have no other questions, go out, enjoy the day. It is beautiful outside. I am going to go sit in my hammock and read a book. So... Okay, so you guys can start logging off, guys, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, just waiting for Alex, Anthony, and Caden to leave. Alrighty, take her. Ooh, do that. Stop recording.